Hello,
Hi there.
and welcome to another one of our horror reviews. I'm Randy,
And I'm Steve.
and this is Final Destination 3.
Yes. I think you told me this was originally supposed to be released in 3D, actually, right? Or was it?
Yes, I think this one was originally supposed to be in 3D.
I know it
Or
wasn't.
at least it was released on DVD in 3D.
It was never released in theaters in 3D. That was actually the first one that was released in 3D was 4, but I think you told me there might have been an attempt to make this a 3D film.
I think so. I'm not sure. 2006 was a long time ago.
It was.
Almost 20 years.
It wasn't. Like I talked about before. It's a long time ago, but really, is it? I was 8, so...
I won't say how old I was.
What? You were like 20-something?
I don't know. 24?
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyhow, so this is like 3 years. So far, there's a 3-year gap between each movie, but I don't know if it actually follows that timeline inside the timeline, if that makes sense. But so this has nothing to do with any of the previous characters at all. This is a completely new cast, and it stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's one of my favorite highlights. Maybe not the only, but one of my favorite highlights of this movie. Who I think does a really good job with an emotional performance in this film.
Scream Queen Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
She is good in this, and I don't think had she done a lot before this. I think this is one of her first films.
No, she was in Black Christmas. And,
oh, that's true. She was in Black Christmas first.
She was in 10 Cloverfield Lane, but I think that was after this.
But Black Christmas was the same year.
Black Christmas was the same year, yes.
So this is one of her first movies, I think.
So yes, she's
right.
Yeah, so maybe.
And then we have Ryan Merriman from Disney, he was alright. He was fine. He was cute. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And then a bunch of unknowns.
Yeah, a bunch of unknowns. Ashley and Ashlyn, I don't know the actresses' names, but they are hilarious in this movie. In fact, I think this is a fan favorite film in the franchise. And I can kind of see why. My biggest reason why this isn't my favorite film is probably because I feel like, and this is just my opinion, that the characters all feel like they are kind of disjointed and don't feel like they all belong in the same universe or the same film.
I can see that.
Like, I don't think the acting was really that bad. I think it was just a lot of characters that didn't make sense in the same story and didn't seem to really, care for each other. Like, in the other stories, the characters have more sympathy and empathy for each other when they die. And this one, they're like, oh, well, they died, and I'm not going to die. And, in this one, they are hard on Mary Elizabeth. So they're like, death seems complicated, and you can't do anything. And what are you talking about? They are hardcore on her. And this is, I think, the first movie with a real, mean, kind of douchey character, I think. Right?
Which one?
The black guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a white douchey character in the 4th one, and also a teacher in the 5th one that's also white, but it's not a racial bias thing. But there is a douchebag in this movie. He just happens to be black. Actually, he's a really funny character in this movie, if that says anything.
He's the one that gets his head slammed.
He's a jug. Yes. So the whole plot of this movie. So in the first one, it was planes. In the second one, it was a car accident
crash
on the freeway. This one, it is a roller coaster at a theme park with a devil as the mascot of the park, which
is played by Tony Todd.
Yes. And so there's no actual coroner in this movie. He doesn't play a physical version of death, anything like that in this movie, but he plays the devil of death, if that makes sense, in this movie, which is a different approach. This movie did some things differently. It tried to do something differently in linear movies in the sense of how death was presented. In the second one, it introduced more adult characters. This one, it introduced more ideas of death and how it worked, and also some of the patterns.
And don't forget to mention the fact of the cameras.
Oh yes, this is another thing that I actually kind of liked for this movie. I feel like I'm so mixed on how I feel it's to be. One thing I really liked, maybe not everyone did, I really liked the fact that they used cameras and took pictures of the characters and had something really sinister in their photos that showed how they would die. Because on the roller coaster, they were supposed to die, but a lot of them got off. And if they got off, they had pictures taken that would show how they were going to die the second time. And they would make hints out of it.
Yeah.
One of the best kills in this movie, I mean, a fan favorite, and I actually think is one of the best kills in this movie, is the tanning bed sequence, which is really funny and just also really scary too. Ashley and Ashlyn are at the tanning beds getting ready for senior prom or senior photos or whatever. I forget exactly what it was. It was something like that.
Something like that.
Some sort of dance or something, or like, we need to look good. So they go to the tanning salon, and they're in there, and this, like, one thing that's turned out are basically, you know, as death does in these movies, there's some way that these things kind of come together to, like, all these things fall, or water starts to leak, whatever, and eventually this coat hanger that was holding their coats knocked over this wooden plank that, like, keeps their doors shut so they can't get out, and the room temperature is rising because they set it too hot, and the tanning beds start to heat up, and they're in there too long, and with the heat combining from the room temperature as well as the tanning beds, it begins to malfunction, and then they basically just burn to death in these things, and the glass comes shattering down on them, like, it is, and then it has the best transition from their from their tanning beds to their coffins, which a lot of people talked about. I think is super funny.
A lot of good kills in this movie.
There's also a truck, like, engine fan that comes and chops it into a guy's head, and there's a jump scare when it goes into his head more and knocks it down. He's like the kind of douchey, and actually he's a douchebag too.
Yeah.
He's also another douchebag. He's like this guy that hits on. He's already a graduate. He actually graduated, I think, like a year or two before, and he's hanging on those two girls that are killed in the tanning beds.
Yeah.
And then you have a woman who a girl who gets with a nail gun. She's in like some sort of workshop, like warehouse, and she gets like the nail gun to the head like several times, which was gruesome. It was actually a pretty decent kill. There's one guy who gets funnily killed off with a cherry picker and just like gets smashed. He's like, "You're gonna die." It's just like this really like kind of.
Right, he's like, "You're gonna die
he's
because of me.
The two goth kids,
caused your death."
which I kind of liked.
And then, bam.
The goth kids in this movie.
Sorry,
Yes.
I scared the dog. This is also the first movie, real quick, to have. Well, no. The first one they died off screen. The second one
died off.
Second one they didn't. They survived.
Everyone dies on. Yeah. This is the first
Except
one.
for the first one.
This
is the first one they all die at the end.
At the end of the movie, not in between. So in the first one, so Devon Sawa survives in the movie.
They all die.
Yes. In the first one, Devon Sawa lives in the movie, and then in between 1 and 2, he dies. Because you find out that during that same sequence in the end of one, like, he gets killed with a brick. That whole sequence with the scene in the end of one where the other guy gets hit with a bulletin board, that is also revealed to be killed because he didn't want to be in the movie. Second one, there's 2 survivors. In this one, everyone dies in the movie with another premonition, which was also another added thing in this movie, and that's also used, I think, in 1 or 2 of the other films where there's 2 premonitions, not just 1. And the same premonition, they can't escape because they're on the subway, and the subway will not let them off, and they are doomed to die. So there is no survivors. The final girl is killed.
Yes, very horrifically in a subway accident.
Yeah.
They all die. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's because test audiences didn't like the fact that originally they were all, the 2 or 3 of them were supposed to survive. The last 3 last 3 or 4 characters were supposed to survive. The sister, the girl, and then the friend, and I think one other character. But like there were supposed to be 3 or 4 survivors, and they all end up dying in because the audience wanted to see something different, and so they all die.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the roller coaster sequence. I think actually it was one of the scariest ones for me because I do not like roller coasters. I'm terrified of roller coasters. I love horror movies. Go figure.
Don't like heights.
I just don't like the combined velocity of speed and then the openness and feeling like you could fall out or like something like that could actually happen. Is like the odds are low. Like to talk about it, it's true, but just the idea of it, just I don't like it. And so. Yeah, but I give this movie 4.5 stars. I think it could have been a little bit better in some ways, but I really enjoyed it.
4.5?
Or 4? I think I gave it 4 stars.
Like 3.5.
I gave it 4. I think it's not. I think it's my 4th favorite, but it's actually really good. And I think it's one that
It is my 4th favorite.
It's my 4th favorite, but I think it's good. I just feel very mixed on it, so I'm gonna give it 4 stars. But
yeah, like and follow for more. We got more Final Destination coming up.
Yes, take care. Bye.
Yes.